People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in each and every time. Good morning to you guys. I hope everybody's doing well and safe. I hope everybody's in good spirits. I hope with it being Thursday now, obviously, you're moving towards whatever goals, dreams and aspirations you guys have. And I really hope you lot are bettering yourself, whatever stage of life you're at, or just trying to do that. And yeah, shout out to everybody, just trying to be better than they was yesterday and taking care of their business. So yeah, good morning to you guys. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you guys. Please make sure you're hitting the like button on your way in. I hope you're well and safe. And yeah, man, I see we've been here for a couple of seconds. There's 33 odd people already here. I've seen you lot for just over an hour. Everybody in there. Nan's had an opinion, I guess, due to the headline in relation to Real Madrid and Odegaard and Willie. Won't he? Can we sign him? Can we not? I'll dissect my thoughts in a bit, people. But what are you lot saying, man? I hope you're all in good spirits. Please make sure you're hitting the like button early doors, people. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm seeing a lot of regulars. You know me. I love to see the members. Then big up yourself, Emma. Like he has said, rise up the likes and good morning to all of you lot. Good morning, sports fans. And again, I can hear the throwback voices because of that, Peter, man. You got to do that every day, my dude. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Big up yourself, my dude. Rowan's in the car. Theo's in the cart. Lewis is about. The real captain's about. Yeah, man. Big up everyone. River Wild is saying, what a day for DG content, because shortly after this live stream, it's straight into the next one with Curtis Shaw. Then after that, I F off on my channel and go off to rants and do my little show with him and Matisse and stuff like that. So content king and all of those sort of things, man. Lockdown can't stop me. International break can't stop me. Saying that I want to watch the under-21s. I know Eddie Nketiah and hopefully Smith Rowe are about. I watched a bit of Spain and Italy yesterday. So it's a mazza, man. Can we please keep pushing this to 100 likes, man? Please. D, if you can't be here, you can't be here, innit? You all got your own life and whatnot, man. I can't expect you to be here all the time. So yeah, man, big up yourself, K, big up yourself. But yeah, enough of the niceties. Before I ask you a lot of your opinions, I know I've seen a lot of strong opinions already, like, how it's lies, they will sell, no, they won't sell. Why would he sell? Listen, nobody's right, nobody knows. My thought is just simply, we're not going to know until May, innit? Because it doesn't make sense Real Madrid saying they're not going to sell him because we hear they want Mbappe and to do other things. It doesn't make sense to say he is for sale because naturally in business, that means you're in a less, if you've made something available and a willingness to sell, you have a less stronger hand to negotiate from. And if they are going to sell, in fact, like I said, the only real winners here on paper are Real Madrid, because they're either going to get a player that they feel can tie into what they want to do, or they're going to get someone who they might have, he had a good season at Sociedad last year. They might have made however money, but following off the back of that, if he now has a better season, well, another good season at Arsenal, he's going to make them more money than if he sat on the bench for them to the end of the season. So if they are going to sell him, sell Ceballos, do what they're doing with Bale and all the other names linked with them and moves away, it helps them. Arsenal aren't in a negotiate a strong hand at all, because we said it. I think a lot has been made of Odegaard staying permanently, really and truly, way before he's really done anything. The minute don't get it twisted, lovely footballer, amazing footballer, settled in well. And I've already said the last few weeks he's really taking it up. But I just feel from the moment we signed him, there's been a lot of talk in relation to permanent, and we haven't really seen much in the last few weeks. Leicester, Spurs, the Europa League, he's really been consistently good for 90, and that makes it even more dangerous to not have a buy option in this contract. We kept hearing language, and we still do hear about the clubs will sit down and talk, but sit down and talk, there's no official anything in writing. Real Madrid could probably, if I'm Real Madrid, I'll let you talk it to your blue in the face. If I don't want to sell him, I'm not selling him. Or if you can't pay what we paid, then fair play. I know there's a lot of rumors, 40 million, 50, I'd be up for that. He's got 2 years left on his deal. They're going to have to make a decision. Personally, my personal opinion before I get into the article, I think Odegaard's open to anything, not just Arsenal. I think he's open to staying at Arsenal, moving somewhere, maybe a Champions League club, or going back to Real Madrid, provided he's given some stability and encouragement. Like the way he talks at Arsenal, if you listen to what he says away from Arsenal, he talks about stability and stuff. And at 22 years of age, he's had a couple of loan spells now. He's currently on another one. He needs to either be given a chance at Real Madrid or go somewhere else where he could settle down roots. And I hope it's Arsenal. You know, everybody loves him until he has a shaky bit of form, but I do like him. I think he's a good option. He showed he can play in a number of roles. He showed he can be a leader in different regions. He simply put, he's a good player, and we lack creativity. So it is what it is. Personally, I think a lot's been made in relation to planning for next season of a player that isn't ours. I would like to see the backup option minimum. We bring man in on loan again for a full season, but it is what it is. Let me share my articles with you lot, people. I say my articles, the ones I've been looking at online. 94 of you locked in. Please make sure you're rising up the like button, people. First things first, not to scare anyone, it isn't as bad as first feared, but I've come in the late hours of today I came aware of this, and I'm not no David Ornstein, but I don't know if anyone else has seen this, so I'll go over it quickly. Apparently, Martin Odegaard was subbed playing for Norway, and he picked up a minor knock. Now, once again, his manager has played down the fact that he's serious and it's just a precaution and he's cool, but I'm sure you all saw the pictures of him holding his right ankle as he was taken off against Gibraltar at half time. And obviously, if it was serious, that would be annoying, because with all due respect to Gibraltar, and you'd expect without Odegaard, Norway have enough to deal with him, and obviously that would make our league campaign harder than it actually is. So he was forced off with an ankle knock, people. He as a result of the challenge and whatnot, people, is replaced at half time. And as you know, it's a bit upsetting, because I think that's technically his first game as Norway captain. And I know a lot's been made of Norway's political message in relation to what's going on Qatar and human rights, as you look can see here with the fourth trending thing there, people. So yeah, it's nothing serious. Again, I'm not going to go over the rest of it, but yeah, hopefully it's nothing serious, as it says. Moving away from that though, as you lot can see here, people, Martin Odegaard, in fact, before that, I think it's best to read the Daily Mail's thing. Depends who you read. Like I said, I think Real Madrid are open to everything. At the end of the day, money talks in it. I think they're open to him going back to Real Madrid, whether that's under Zidane, and more likely, in my opinion, the next manager, whether that's staying at Arsenal. Money talks. Like I said, I don't think Real Madrid should be in a rush, and they control all the dominoes, because he's, at the end of the day, he's contracted for another year, in it. I mean, 2 years. So there is a rush to decide his future, but there isn't a rush. But as you lot can see here, allegedly, Real Madrid won't even contemplate letting Martin Odegaard leave for Arsenal permanently, while the Norwegian star is still determined to succeed with the Spanish giants in a huge blow to the Gunners' transfer hopes. Now, we obviously know Mr. Jonathan Spencer's got to sensationalize this, potentially false a story, and I don't think we're going to learn anything throughout this article that we haven't learned from day one. From day one, Arteta's had admiration. Real Madrid have had admiration. Odegaard has said he feels comfortable, but everybody has said we're waiting to the end of the season. Now's not the time, and it isn't the time right now. Odegaard needs to just concentrate on what he's doing, playing well. Arsenal need to try and get Europa League, and Real Madrid need to do what they need to do. If he keeps playing well, things take care of themselves, really. And I don't know Odegaard's feelings, because on one hand, not just at Arsenal, anywhere else, surely feeling important again, especially the sort of player he is. Surely once you get a feeling of feeling important again, you don't want to go back to being a spare part at Real Madrid, assuming that's what's going to happen. Away from Arsenal, you feel important. I don't want to even say the club love you and stuff, but you feel like you're the difference maker. Your teammates look to you and they applaud you for it. And that's what football's about. Whether it's going to be at Arsenal, Real Madrid, or somewhere else, you'd imagine for the next couple of years, that's what Martin needs. That's what you would want. And on top of that, stability. We might be desperate to make it a permanent offer, but it is what it is. And I'm gonna echo what I've previously said. I would love Odegaard to stay, if not permanent, for next season. Get him on loan again. I do think people need to calm down once again. But this is the thing with me. I don't want us to sit there and act like Odegaard is the only player in the world. With all due respect, I know Arsenal are probably punching to get him. We know we can't really grab these world-class players. But at the end of the day, for me, unless you're Messi, Ronaldo, and these sorts, there's always the next one. So what I don't want is, if Edu was doing it, saying, cool, we're not looking at another number 10 or 8 because Odegaard's here, which is dangerous because he's not our player permanently. And let's just say he wants to go back to Real Madrid next year. The plan is to play at Real Madrid. This is a relationship of convenience, as I've previously said. Arsenal needed some creativity and we couldn't sign no one in January. Real Madrid weren't giving you game time. This is a platform for you and stuff. So it was a marriage out of convenience. So we'll have to see. The goal was always to get more playing time. Whether he's changed his mind, who knows? But I don't think Odegaard should make any hasty decisions. I think the only person that needs to double down is Arsenal, because what I hope is that we're trying to grab him permanently, even on loan again. but we're having contingency plans, because if he doesn't stay, all right, cool, I'm sure fans will have something to say. But if you bring me a next creative man, it is what it is. And again, I don't want to sit here, have us sitting on our hands, because that area needs to get addressed. Whether you're going to go for a number 8, a traditional 10, it is what it is, people. But as you lot know, Martin Odegaard has to return to Real Madrid. Sorry, Martin Odegaard has a return to Real Madrid firmly on his mind, despite shining and enjoying regular game time at Arsenal, according to reports. Going forward, I've got this article up here somewhere, I believe from Marca. Apparently, Arsenal's hopes of landing Odegaard on a permanent deal beyond the season look to have taken a blow, as Real Madrid apparently are not even contemplating a permanent sale of the midfielder. And again, I do think that is true. I do think that is also not true. I think Real Madrid would be open to selling him. At the same point, I do think they want to at least run the rule over him. They've got a bit of a young squad. They need a rebuild. Obviously, he could tip the balance. He was a player, hyped up a lot from the ages of 16, rightly or wrongly. I'm sure they would like to give him another go at things. Now, there's got to be a reason you weren't playing under Zidane. Maybe he didn't fancy you. Maybe there's something you're lacking. I'm not saying Odegaard suffers from it, but a lot of players actually suffer from the pressure at Real Madrid. It's actually got nothing to do with their footballing ability. It's everything is scrutinized, everything is watched and stuff. Maybe Odegaard failed to deal with that and the personalities. Personally, I think Odegaard needed to feel special again, in the sense of, you're a great, you was talked of being world class one day, highly sought after from 16 years of age, one of the best sort of footballers at your age group and stuff, and technically great. At Arsenal, that's amazing, but going Real Madrid, whether you're a young potential player or a world-class player in your prime, you're not really special, because that's the minimum requirement in an ideal world to play for these Barças and these Madrids. You have to be at the top of your game. You have to be stood out. So, so what you could say for Odegaard, and then you've got however many other similar sort of people. So I did think, Sociedad made him feel important. Herberveen made him feel important. Arsenal are making you feel important and stuff. And it is good. Obviously, he's young. The London life, the way he's fitted in with the team, I hope man stay. But it is what it is. Football, you can't do the sentiment thing. The goal, if we just look at it in a basic sort of thing, the goal was to get regular game time and go back to Real Madrid. And it is what it is. He's been there since 16. I'd imagine what would happen is he has his season at Arsenal and he goes back and he honestly asks his Real Madrid, whoever their manager is, where do you see me? Like, can I have a concrete sort of plan? Like, is it a thing where as long as I train as hard as I can, man, I get a chance? Or is it going to be what was happening before we came here, where he's training, but you don't really have a chance? You have to see. And it's completely different, but it's like Joe Willock on loan from Arsenal. It's like, once you get a taste of first team football, do you want to go back to sitting consistently on the bench? You're at places where you're genuinely an option to start. Real Madrid, that clearly wasn't always the case. Apparently, he's still determined to succeed at Real Madrid. And like I said, Arsenal fans, you can't get attached to it. That was always the goal. Like I said at the start, I hope he stays, but this was a relationship of convenience, a platform to show Real Madrid you shouldn't be on loan in the first place, help Arsenal get top 4 and all of these things. Of course, I hope he stays, but we need to remember, on one hand, he could stay, but on the other hand, that was it, sort of thing. Apparently, however, which could help Arsenal. However, before returning, Odegaard wants clarity over the managerial situation and who will be in the dugout in the summer, with question marks over the future of Zidane. Now, I think if Zidane leaves, I'd say he's definitely more likely to go back. I think if Zidane stays, I think he will go back, do a thing, see where Zidane takes him, and he's more likely to leave. A new manager, as you lot know, certain players that were first names on the team sheet, that might not necessarily be the case, so everyone gets a chance. And he has struggled to win the trust, as it went on to say, people. And I think he's technically played more minutes for Arsenal than he has Madrid, technically. I see some stats going. Every footballer is going to be happy playing on a regular basis, people, and he's earned it. He's earned it at Arsenal. That's the thing, and he's a key part to us. And there was a bit of the article where I want to scroll down. That's not it. This was relation to his injury. I'll just read that out. That's what his coach said. I have a big hope that Martin will be fit for the game against Turkey on Saturday. Not a serious injury. And he also said, I twisted my ankle, but I think I'll be fit for the game against Turkey. And considering Saka's been left behind for the first England game tonight against San Marino, and he might be playing in the next one, I hope nothing happens in that regard. I'd love Odegaard. I'd love Odegaard and Saka to sit out and play no part in these internationals, and just like any player really. But that's the first article that was speaking about him. There was a next one, I think this is it here, on the Metro, and Mr. Phil Haig, I think. Martin Odegaard admits his future is unclear, but playing for Real Madrid remains a dream. Once again, we knew that already. I'm just going to scroll down to the bits of I deem of relevance. Apparently, he said, yes, I've said many times, when you sign there, the goal is always to play there. It is of course a big dream. But at the same time, I am in a nice club and very happy where I am now. So I'm very happy with the situation as it is now. And obviously that tells me that if Real Madrid give you a genuine plan, you're going back, and there's nothing. It is what it is. That is it. Real Madrid, Arsenal. There's no contest. Playing regularly for Arsenal, for Real Madrid in the Champions League, and playing for Real Madrid, it's got a better name to it than Arsenal. That's the dream. So if they give, if Zidane turns around and says, "Listen, I know I've done you dirty, but this time is really going to be different. This time I'm going to use you, provided you give me what I want," then he goes back. Then if it becomes abundantly clear it's going to be more of the same, then he might consider Arsenal. I think what could complicate things, if you're a Champions League club now, surely you're looking at this and getting involved, or looking to take him on loan. And for Odegaard, I know you're comfortable here. I know Arteta's doing his thing. I know you like the players, but end of the day, business is business. There's no time for emotion in this thing. Like he said, he's happy. He wants to make it at Real Madrid, but he's happy here. So like I said, this tells me that his heart wants Real Madrid. His brain is saying, yo, you need to start kicking on as a footballer generally now. And he's asked about his gut feeling for the future. And for Odegaard, it'd be stupid to name what he wants to do. Again, keep all your cards close to your chest until the summer, when something can be done. And obviously for Arsenal, indirectly, it might be stupid to signal your intent beyond what we already know in relation to going for Odegaard, because, if we're negotiating for a centre half, if I'm the club that we're trying to buy this centre half from, I'm sitting there and saying, listen, all I hear about Arsenal is that you lot lack money, COVID, this and that. But when I look at your team, centre half and right back are probably two key areas of your team in central midfield. But you're going for a luxury player in Odegaard, and you're spending 40, 50. Okay, cool. I know you lot got money. So whatever you are saying that you're giving me, listen, I know you got change because you're going for a luxury player. So go and give me some money. So again, it doesn't make sense for any party, Odegaard, Arsenal, or Real Madrid, to say where they're going. Like I said, I think it's 50-50. He could sign, he couldn't sign. I don't think you can move in any direction. But I would say it's funny how football can change. Odegaard, he's playing well, and it looks like the easiest decision right now. If he has a bit of a wobble, which I don't hope happens, like every football fan, you'll see a lot of flip-flops. But he's asked about his gut feeling. He said, it does not say much. I thrive where I am, and I enjoy myself a lot. Then we'll see what happens in the future, people. So it is what it is. He also said the deal with Arsenal is until the end of the season. We'll see what happens this summer. I've said things before that I still stand for. Stability and development are key words. And that's two things Arsenal can give him a platform for. I don't know for the whole team and development for the whole team, but you, Smith Rowe, couple of man, Saka, you can have some stability and development because you're playing, we're feeling important and stuff. And he also said, I feel I quickly adapt and understood how we play. I lacked match fitness and self-confidence, and I did see that. This is something where I've said that's what I could have articulated better. You see, when I said he's a good footballer, but I feel he's playing within himself, and the best and worst praise I can give him is that he looks like an Arsenal player. I feel the self-confidence thing, he forgot how important he was, and I'll credit his Arsenal teammates and the coaching, and just downright having a platform to play. It's giving him that, like you saw against Spurs, against West Ham, against Leicester, Leeds even, was it Benfica, Olympiacos, one of them teams there? In fact, it might have even been both in the second half of those games. Really seeing a different sort of Odegaard. And to kind of throw Ceballos into it, this is the sort of rhetoric I wanted over Ceballos when he came to our club on loan. I wanted you to look like a Real Madrid player in and amongst Arsenal Europa League squad, one of the worst Arsenal teams. That hasn't always been the case with Ceballos, and it now firmly is the case with Odegaard. You're like, wow, he's doing us a favor being here. So yeah, man, Arsenal can give you match fitness because we'll play you, we'll give you self-confidence, we can give you stability and development. For Arsenal, there's also resale value at 22 years of age, but we can't probably give you the strongest sporting project. The whole dynamics of the squad changes rapidly and stuff like that. We rarely do all the business we need to do in any markets. We're the kings of starting a cycle and never finishing it. Like if we sign a creative man and we sign a defensive mid, we won't sign a striker. If we've got a striker, we're not signing the creativity. If we've got a left back, we're not signing a right back. We've got one centre half, we're not signing another. We love the unfinished business sort of thing. And he's also said the more games I've played, the better I've become. It's a rising curve. And again, it's the only thing that's frustrating for me is that we're developing players for other teams, really. You know, we're growing mangoes and we're not going to see the fruits of that labor of our labor from that tree. Same time, we did know, because we spent 2.5 million on loan and he's helping us, so I can't really say that, but you get the point in that regards, people. So yeah, man, it'll be interesting to see what happens, but in relation to conclusions, I don't think any can be drawn. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, and also please make sure you're checking the link I dropped, people, because I'll be going live at 12 with Curtis Shaw. The grind don't stop, people. So it is what it is in relation to the future of Martin Odegaard, people. Apologies while I bring up Google Docs. Completely forgot about timestamps. You know how inconsiderate of me, people, to actually do that. But yeah, please make sure you're hitting the like button. Get your own opinions in as well. What was that? Let's say that's from 0-0 to 20. That was Martin Odegaard. So yeah, get you lots of opinions in. What are you lot saying? Oh, it's a problem, fam. Odegaard will join Arsenal once Real Madrid get complacent. Not sure what you exactly mean, but fair play. Let's rise up the likes, people. Let's rise up the likes. What are you lot saying in relation to Odegaard? I know a lot of you have been very vocal. Cameron said, my summer dream would be for Odegaard to stay and Ceballos to go back and dream on the Real Madrid bench. Ceballos, in my opinion, he won't think he'd be made permanent. It doesn't make sense. He's got ability. He hasn't shown it consistently, and he hasn't really made the difference. And really, not to scapegoat him, but the last 3 appearances I've seen from you in the Europa League, you've had a hand in us conceding goals, people. So yeah, you've got to be able to play. You know, if Real Madrid say they're going to play you, then fair play. Or you go to another Champions League club, then fair play. It is what it is, man. Trill has said, morning DG, day off, had a run. Now I'm having breakfast and watching the kid. I appreciate that. Shout out to you, man. Essential's a great player. He's had injuries, and to be fair, he's still highly regarded. That's the difference, you know. Football comes down to personal opinion, you know. Ceballos, I mean, Essential's a favorite player of Zidane, so he's all right. And this is it for me. This seems the problem for Arsenal. You know, it's always a lot of propaganda. We do it to the point where Al was the only midfielder in the world. Now Odegaard's the only midfielder in the world, and they're in problems with that. You know, we don't have the money that we can obtain, though that can be our number one target. And likewise, you know, our Odegaard, these are not Messi's. So if you miss out, you need to have other targets. But it is what it is, man. And I believe in that really and truly, you know. I wouldn't, it's not even a trust in the Daily Fail thing, Joe. It's like, it's logically, again, I don't like the newspaper, but it's the same language we've all said and we've all seen. And again, it's what we all know. We're not going to hear that Arsenal have made this permanent tomorrow. We're going to find out at the end of the season or whatever. I think on one hand, Real Madrid are in no rush to sell, but at the end of the day, like you said, money talks. If the money is right, it gets done. I think what Arsenal can learn from this, maybe we were so desperate to just get it over the line, we didn't even try and put an option on the table, but put an option on the table because it's more expensive to not do things. You could have said, yo, his stock's falling, we're going to grab him for 40 million max. Let's say Real Madrid turn around and say, no, we want 55, 60, as silly as that might be. It is what it is. And all I hope at fundamental is what my man is saying. Big up yourself. This is it. That's my point with this is a relationship out of interest. You know, you help us get into the Champions League, forget the Champions League. I'd say just help us get into Europe and try and save some face from this season. You've been given the platform to play regular and make the difference. Then if that's the end of it, that's the end of it. Like I said at the start, let's not forget, this is a relationship born out of, out of personal interest. We're giving Odegaard a platform. We need someone. It weren't a thing like we've said, Odegaard's available, we want him. And it's another signing where it's a loan one, but he had one hand and foot out the door at Real Madrid. It's not like we was looking and we said, you know what, you're our target. You know, half the players we've been signing have got one foot out the door, whether the club wants to sell them, the club is a selling club, they're not playing football. Very rarely have our signings of recent, in my humble opinion, been, we want you. Like, we really, really want you. And again, people don't want to sell good players 9 times out of 10. We don't force the issue. So I don't see us forcing the issue with this one. So it is what it is, man. It really is what it is. Theo has said, I think if they sell him, they're going to demand like 80 or 100. Don't know for that. Ashton with a great point. He said, does no one remember when Sociedad wanted to keep Odegaard and couldn't afford 35 million? Again, they did want to sell him, but obviously Sociedad and Arsenal is different, innit? It's the Premier League and all the Premier League tax and the hysteria and all of that, man. Dom, sorry, has said, morning, DG. Of course, they will say no until the end of the season when no offers have been placed yet. Exactly. Exactly. And what have you said? Bigger fool Arsenal for not pushing to include an option to buy. You said it there, bang on the money. Nico is also saying what I'm thinking, and as right. Real Madrid are playing hardball. It's not even a hardball thing. There's nothing for Real Madrid to gain by saying, yeah, we're selling him right now. When it's doing where Odegaard is selling him himself. When you're playing like how we didn't win, but you're standing out against West Ham, you're standing out against Spurs, you're standing out. People are looking at him. Arsenal is all talk about Arsenal. How do we know another Premier League team or another team hasn't said we'll take him on loan next season for a full campaign? Or you want your money, let's give him. And then there's other platforms and stuff, people. Again, who knows, really and truly? Who knows, man? Please make sure you're hitting the like button, man. It's an interesting one, man. To be fair, he has been extremely frustrated at Real Madrid. We got to remember he was there from 16, but it's like he said, it's almost an impossible dream. That's why for me, if I was a footballer, I don't think you should join these Barca's and Madrids and within reason, if they're going to do a little Pedri thing with you or whatever, I don't think you should join these teams until you're in your prime. When I say prime, it don't mean age, but you're in your peak powers and you're very consistent because even then, man, fail. These teams aren't giving you time to develop and all of that sort of stuff. And they don't care that you're a young, talented player. Like I said earlier, because everyone's a young, talented player or a talented player or a Galactico or whatever in their own right. So make of that what you will, really and truly. A bit irrelevant. Who do I want to win the Champions League? I don't really care, with all due respect. If it's not Arsenal, which it can't be and won't ever be for a while, it don't matter, man. Like, it don't matter. I'm just interested to see it. Hopefully, Arsenal win the Europa, though, man. Um, is what it is. He'll have 2 years left on his deal, so you're slightly wrong. And even then, they could give him they could keep him for a year, let him run it down, give him a year to show something and say, you know what, we'll sell him. Or they could make a decision. So it is what it is. I'm no transfer man, but 45, 50 million, anything more could potentially be excessive. But saying that if he goes somewhere else and he shells it up is crazy. MT has said, where's Curtis? You're showing that you can't listen because it's not 12 p.m. Curtis will be here. We've got over half an hour. That's the next live stream. So like I said, check out the live streams. In fact, let me get the next link. We're going into another one at 12. I actually think at the end of this live stream, if you do nothing, you'll be live. It will live direct you back into the one with Curtis. So relax, learn to listen, and it's all right. It's all right. This is it. 12 p.m. business. But it is what it is. This is it, man. But it is what it is, It is what it is. I'm just saying that's for me because I see people in their prime struggle. So if I'm a young player who's talented and things, bro, they don't care about you're there because look at Dembele. All the criticisms he gets rightly or wrongly at Barcelona. You was at you swear at Dortmund for like a year or so. He wasn't in his prime. You still had a success. You're still doing your thing, but you give yourself a chance, man. Give yourself a chance because it's different, them clubs. You have to continue. And also, we don't know where these guys are mentally as well. Maybe Odegaard was or wasn't prepared for it mentally. Like I said, it's a different thing. Check out the live chat, people. I mean, man said live chat. The link I've just dropped in there is what it is, man. And speaking of Perez, that's the only thing I think they'll be offered to sell Odegaard. But wasn't Odegaard a project of people in the board and things like that? And things like that. So again, if there's politics involved, you're not gonna, we're not gonna have a chance, man. And this is why I say you need to be. I would give myself half a chance of being in my prime to have half a chance, man. To be fair, what's he got to lose? Going back to Real Madrid, really, realistically, what's he got to lose? When you actually deep it, what has he got to lose? So yeah, it is what it is in that regards, man. It is what it is. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. What else have we got? I think there's stuff around Eddie and Nketiah and things like that. So we might as well quickly go over that as well. Bro, that's some nonsense, man. I see that on Twitter. That's some nonsense. Absolute tosh. But people are allowed to say what they want. So yeah, it is what it is in that regards, man. In fact, I say that. We could go over this again. This is kind of touching on Odegaard as well, people. You know, sorry, people. Odegaard. Man said determined. Mad shout Google. But yeah, people pre in this one now again. Google Translate. If I sound silly, bro, chill, bro. Like Eddie Nketiah's had something to say. Chill. I'm just gonna go over it. Calm down, man. Anyways, moving on. Apparently, he's still his dream. Let's see if there's anything here, people. It kind of goes into depth. It said Martin Odegaard left for London at the end of January, but he did so with a return ticket. At Real Madrid, they are very clear. The Norwegian's game time at Arsenal is given the reason to those who bet on the midfielder that Odegaard must be a fundamental piece in the future of the Real Madrid team. Apparently, the contribution of the former Real Sociedad team to the game of the team, that's what you see it there yourselves, people. Led by Arteta is a reflection of the true game and level of the midfielder who started the season with problems with one of his knee and was not given enough time to demonstrate his qualities at the club. So again, talent is one thing, but he's lost his confidence. He's had some injuries. Obviously, it's difficult when you're getting minimal minutes and not playing consistently. The sort of character I think with Odegaard, he's a bit of I think he's more of an Arsenal man than a Real Madrid man. Like I think he's one that's a bit, I'd hate saying the word soft, but soft, needs an arm around him, and you're gonna get that Arsenal. You're not gonna get that Real Madrid. There's too much Galactical stuff going on for all of that sort of stuff. So I think he struggled for those reasons, and all of these sort of things are flipped on a positive sense. But apparently, this is further confirming them. Like I said, talent isn't enough. Consistency in doing it is. At the club, they were convinced that once all the problems had overcome and confidence restored to 100%, the Odegaard explosion was going to come again, in which you're kind of seeing. In fact, the Norwegian left accepting a salary cut, so he just wanted to get out playing football. In a gesture that fully denotes the understanding between the leaders and the players who have found in Arsenal and in Arteta the support that he lacked in Zidane. So again, on top of all the points I've just said, he found a manager that trusts him. The idea is that Odegaard returns to occupy what he thinks and should be a place on the white team. The bad experience of the first 5 months of the competition may weigh on his future, but from Real Madrid, they do not give up. They do not stop giving him the confidence that exists in him and what he can contribute. The analysis that they have done speaks again. The Google Translate is doing a madness, people. So I'm gonna have to kind of skip some of these. Everyone thought that Zidane was going to be able to transmit a confidence that has not existed, and that led to the Norwegian to request a departure to London. At Arsenal, the improvement of this team has come from the hand of the contribution of Odegaard and the improvement of the level in general of the team that began the campaign in a hesitant way and is now in the fight to enter Europe via the Premier League and even for a conquest in the Europa League. Scrolling down, people, the English club, starting with the coach and ending with the managers, would be happy to have Odegaard for a longer time. They have no option of it, and in Real Madrid, they do not contemplate a transfer. The player is still determined to succeed in the Real Madrid team, but before returning, he wants to know what the coach, whoever is there, wants from him and the role he will play in the team. Odegaard is happy at Arsenal. A very different panorama has been found to the one that he had in the first months of the season, especially in relation to the confidence of the coach. Now his objective is to close the season in the best possible way with the English club and then examine the different alternatives that may be presented to him. But for the moment, he's very comfortable at Arsenal, but in his head, he still has an idea of succeeding at Real Madrid. So there you have it. That kind of further confirms what we've kind of been on about. And again, I wouldn't be alarmed by that. It's the same thing. He left Real Madrid to go and get more game time to try and make it at Real Madrid. So make of that what you will, people. A lot of you talking about Coutinho. Yeah, man, let's talk about Coutinho because I think there's an article there still. Again, we've been linked with Coutinho since the moment it became clear it's not working out for Donny at Barcelona. We've heard his agent speak. We've heard everything. So as you lot can see, I have little to no interest of speaking about it. But for what it's worth, Philip Coutinho price tag revealed as Arsenal and Chelsea handed transfer boost. Philip Coutinho for sale, and the Brazilian is open to a return to the Premier League. As we know, I think there's some clauses in Coutinho's contract that that Barcelona have to pay Liverpool certain fees if he plays X amount of appearances. That might explain why he's been a very marginalized figure at Barcelona beyond the obvious, people. But as you lot know, well, we know it ain't gone to plan. I'm gonna scroll down and try and find the bits of relevance, people. We all know it cost 142 million. 3 years on, they're prepared to accept an L of 100. Again, if something could be done similar to Odegaard, where it's a loan fee and things like that, I'm all for that. But I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I think Coutinho's a wavy player. I think he looks like damaged goods now. I think a lot can happen if you get confidence and start playing and things. Like certain people didn't even want Odegaard. I'm not saying that to justify going for Coutinho. Of course, I'm biased. He's Brazilian in that, but he's a wavy player. We sure as hell could do a lot worse. I would not be against bringing him in on loan, but again, it would make no sense taking him permanently. Obviously, if he does the business and he plays well, it's irrelevant. But the wages, the signing on fee, the agent fee, stuff that is irrelevant for me as a fan. Potential, the transfer fee, I'd rather spend the money on Odegaard than how it is with Coutinho. Now, obviously, dynamics can change, and there's no resale value with Coutinho. At least if in an imaginary world, if you grab Odegaard, at 22 he can be here. He's still be 25, 26. Real Madrid might go and say, yo, we'll take him back. Barca might say this, PSG the other, or whatever in it. Coutinho's very much here for the now. And again, not to bring other players into this, but I don't know what I'm going to get with Odegaard, because he's only been playing well or extremely well for a matter of weeks or a couple of games. But if Coutinho, I always look at what happens if it, not to be negative, but if it goes wrong. If Coutinho goes wrong and it was permanent, then for obvious reasons, you lot are not idiots. It's an expensive outlay. And also we would have him and whatever wages come with that. For a year, you would have Lacazette, form or not, just where he's at. Aubameyang, the wages, again, where we're at. Willian, technically, where we're at. There's talk of David Luiz new deal, and there's plenty of other examples. So I do think, we have to spend wisely. And I just think, obviously, I can sit here and I think Coutinho's a baller. I can sit here and say Premier League proven, but I just think we should stay clear. I'm open for it on loan, and I wouldn't be against it. He's a wavy footballer, but there's just too much red tape involved in this, people. He's a wavy player. And again, there seems to be no hardcore evidence linking Arsenal and Chelsea. I assume just the fact that Barca and Coutinho want to part ways. Maybe Arsenal need a player like that, Chelsea the same. And the fact that they're two Premier League clubs, I don't really see anything else, really, really. Let's see what this is like. I don't see anything. We know we have tried to go for him before, and we've got a semi-great relationship with his agent, people. But again, there's nothing of any. Well, as you lot can see here, people, I've tried to click onto the article. Apparently, Barca are getting to pay him Wijnaldum on free transfer. So again, they will need to move players on, but nothing of concrete evidence for Coutinho. But like I said, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't necessarily be for it. If he comes, he'll get my support, but myth in my opinion. So it is where it is in that regards, and we can close that. Away from all of that, on a slight serious note, people, on a very, very, very slight serious note. As we know, racism has no place in football. And, this Arsenal have let me down many times over the years and many times this season. I will not forgive them if they lose to Slavia Prague, and do not make an example from a sporting point of view of this disgrace of a football team, because UEFA should kick them out, put Rangers into it. But it is where it is, people. And listen, I want revenge for everyone that stands up for racism, for every black player that's sadly been on the victim of this, and everybody else. And he's a former Arsenal man. But just off topic, police to question Slavia Prague's, I can't even say his name, and he doesn't even deserve me saying his name, if he travels to Arsenal, obviously in relation to the madness. Apparently, he's expected to be questioned over, and for what it's worth, sorry, people, UEFA apparently are investigating, but my man is expected to be questioned over accusations of racial abuse against Glenn Kamara if he returns to the UK for Europa League quarter-final action against Arsenal. A Rangers player lawyer has said, people, the police in Scotland have confirmed they're doing stuff. A statement read by Kamara's lawyer has said Glenn welcomes the police investigation into racist abuse he faced. Police Scotland officers are now expected to question my man when he returns next month on the 8th to England to play Arsenal. There can never be any justification for deeply offensive, provocative and racist language that is accused of using. A UEFA investigation is now also underway, which Glenn will fully cooperate with. Obviously, if he's found guilty, then UEFA must use Article 14 of the disciplinary regulations and improve zero tolerance sanctions. And yet again, UEFA are provided with options and ways that they can really show that they really want to kick out racism beyond just these silly, stupid 30-second TV clips and stuff like that, but they won't because there's no money in it, and those at the top have probably never ever been affected by it. So like I said, if Arsenal lose to them, I'm gonna actually, that's one thing that will make me be done with the football club, because I literally want to kick racism for 180 minutes, left, right, and center people. And if you can do him up in the changing rooms or in the walkway and whatnot, why not, man? But it is where it is, man. That's that. So yeah, moving away from that, let's get back on it, folks. Like I said, please make sure you guys are at the next live stream with Curtis Shaw. This is why this one won't go quite as long as the usual ones, people. But it is what it is. Bro, UEFA ain't doing anything, my brother. Bro, accusations or there's hardcore evidence, bro. Do your research. If you do your research and whatnot, then there shouldn't be a problem, provided there's concrete evidence and it's there in plain sight, like what was happening. If you see the footage in Glencoe and hear the reactions of everybody included it, then face sanctions. I'm tired of, we don't know what's being said, this, that, and the third, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the third. There's literally video evidence. There's lip readers literally speaking. So anyone that wants to preach ignorance, you're getting blocked. We ain't got time for this. I'm tired of this. We gotta wait. No. From when John Terry is getting blatantly seen doing it, and they're saying, it's not in the court of law and all this. You think I give a crap what these lot say? I know what I saw. Is what it is. Like you said, they don't give a crap, man. Bro, forget them. Knock the racists out. Foul them up, man. Foul them up. I want to see Gabriel first 5 minutes put someone on a stretcher. I don't advocate this sort of stuff, but with racism and derogatoriness and all of these sort of things, have to do it, man. Anyways, people, now Eddie, you lot's guy. Eddie Nketiah has had a lot to say. As you lot know, he's actually been named as the captain for the under-21s. It starts today for England. Not gonna lie, don't know who they play. Have little interest in it. I'm gonna watch all of this because I love youth players, and like I said, I watched Spain and Italy yesterday, but I have no interest in this. I'm quite disappointed in the England youth squad in general with some of the names selected. Like, I listen, I know Eddie's actually got a great record there, but I do think there's potentially players that should have been called up alongside Eddie, and definitely Rhian Brewster. So it is what it is in that regards, man. So yeah, Eddie's my guy. He come up from Hayland via Chelsea, but he just needs to be moved on. Bro, you became a moderator yesterday, but moving on with Eddie Nketiah. In fact, not moving on, because where's the timestamps? So we're gonna get onto Eddie Nketiah now, people. Eddie frustrated. So yeah, let's get on to Eddie. Well, yeah, here, this is a better one. Frustrated, Eddie Nketiah speaks about being ditched by Mikel Arteta despite working hard and staying dedicated at Arsenal. Again, you should have went out. If that's the case, I do think the article writer, Catherine's, excited it a bit, but at the same time, this is how football works. You worked yourself. You were getting in ahead of Aubameyang and Lacazette at a stage. You worked your way in. We called it admirable. You couldn't get into Leeds. You came to Arsenal. You're doing your thing, but you can't rest on your laurels. And when I look at Reece Nelson, Joe Willock, and Eddie Nketiah in particular, it does feel like they've been very comfortable within this structure, being part of the first team, and then you're not. And when you don't solidify yourself, like Smith Rowe has done, like Saka has done, you're always going to be a disposable good. And Eddie Nketiah, I'm sure you're going to be a decent striker. You might leave and become what I feel it should be, a Premier League proven striker. But I personally feel the time has come to move you on. Sell on clause, decent fee. You've made several appearances. You've come through the academy. You've won FA Cup. It's been a success. And like I said, you might go somewhere else and develop and be the striker that, Michael Owen, Alan Shearer, Ian Wright all think you can be. I might not think you're going to be levels like that, but them man who have been there, done that, and their opinion in the game, is a madness. They're telling you can, so it might happen, but it's not going to happen here, people. It is what it is. Let's do what we need to do with Martinelli. If Arteta wants to bring in another striker, fair play. I don't think Eddie Nketiah should be one of the first names out, because we need to get rid of these damaged goods. But he has not too long left on his deal, a year left. He probably needs to be moved on. Will he be moved on? I don't know, because you look at Balogun's situation, it's clouded. You look at Nelson, it's clouded. You look at Eddie, it's clouded. Now, apart from being free Hayland youngsters, what's the common thing? You've got an agent. They've all got the same agent. Does their agent want the best interest? Is he comfortable having them just wasting away at Arsenal? I don't know. Really and truly, I think Balogun and Eddie, who have the same agent, both their futures are away from football. But to play devil's advocate, can you really deal with one future a future of one striker without knowing the other, without knowing where the club sees both. It is what it is. You should have left on long time ago. You should be concerned over the lack of playing time. You're a jack of, you're jack of all trades, master of done. I applaud you for being under 21s captain. I applaud your record at under 21s level, but doing it at under 21s and under 19s and all those things for England, beating up under 23 sides, it doesn't mean anything. Being a quality goal scorer at that level, it very rarely translates. And I don't think it has. I don't think you've got enough in your general play. I don't think you're physically strong enough. I don't think you affect the game enough. I don't think that you're as much of a poacher as people give you credit for in the first team, but you might go and become one if you go and leave and join another team and stuff like that. Minutes are currency, and I think you're behind. You look at someone like Tammy Abraham, who's more or less same age as you and whatnot. The difference of him, he's got a serious CV of games behind him. You ain't got that. And you need to go out and make a name for yourself. Eddie and Arsenal need to divorce. It's all fun and games scoring in the cup and doing up this hand sign, but it ain't meant nothing. And you're right. I want to see you frustrated and concerned and all of these things by the lack of game time. Arteta said yourself, he feels sorry for you, but end of the day, we need to get 3 points. And Lacazette is a better striker than you. I'd rather Martinelli do his thing there. I know Aubameyang's form is poor, but if I had to bet my life, I'd rather Aubameyang in there, with Odegaard and Smith Rowe and Williams' emergence now. We can only have so many midfielders and attackers on the bench, and people have to miss out. And it's sink or swim. This is how real football is. Eddie, Joe, Nelson, you haven't taken your chances. I think Nelson's been a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. So what I hope Eddie can do is this can be your platform to show what you're on. Probably alert clubs to show what you're on going into the summer, because you should have even pushed for a loan in January. Maybe you did, and Arteta and the club said, no, we need a body, but you've only got yourself to blame. You make your own luck at this point. And like I always say, for these young G's, for these young G's, you need to, in August, you need to think, what can I do so that when I'm sitting in this situation a year from now, have I become a dramatically better player? And it's not going to happen. I'm seeing man play under 23s now. It's dead. You should really and truly, like Nelson, if you weren't Eddie Nketiah and doing your thing and whatnot, there should be a lot. You shouldn't even be in the under 21s based on games played. I do think Liam Delap in the under 21s. If not, he should be, man, because he's someone at City that needs to go out on loan. He's bullying it. But let's see actually what Eddie had to say. He said, it's been a month or so for myself. I've worked hard and stayed dedicated, and that has added to the frustration. And, that's being a footballer. You wanted to stay. No matter how much you work, the captain's getting more game time than you. Martinelli should get more game time than you. Lacazette's played his way into form. And as I've said, depending on who it is in terms of the attackers and things like that, there can only be so much on the bench. So, this is the real world. I'm not saying he feels like he's owed anything, but this is the real world. It's irrelevant that you're Eddie Nketiah from the academy and you're well-trained and you're well-behaved. These are all relevant things, but it's irrelevant. Arteta has to play players that he thinks, and I don't think it's always been the case, that can give him 3 points. There's money on the line. There's jobs on the line. We haven't got time for Eddie Nketiah's development. You can't be... it's been difficult. You've worked hard and stayed dedicated. So hopefully you can get some joy and some happiness from playing for England. But it's a myth, people. He said it's part of football, but one that you don't want to be involved in. I believe in my ability. So obviously I think I'm capable of playing and helping the team. That's positive. It is frustrating not playing, but you have to channel that frustration in a good way. Use your time wisely to work hard and prepare for when that opportunity arises. Facts, fair play, stay ready. You don't have to get ready. As you lot know, he's not made the bench in any of the knockout games against Benfica or Olympiacos. His last competitive appearance came in January. We're now in March. Again, should have forced the boat. But you lot are happy. This is it. These hand signs look wavy, but it's dead. And he said, I've got a big tournament ahead of me. And as you should, England have got one of the best teams, I feel, in the group, Go and show everybody that they should buy you and say, I'm not the Eddie Nketiah that deserves to sit on Arsenal's bench or at Leeds' bench. I've actually got some talent. Go and show that. You need to go out and show that. Go and alert clubs so that in the summer you can get an offer and they can sit there and go, oh, Eddie's decent, ain't he? He's got a year left. Let's give Arsenal a little 10, 15 million and all of these things. You do have a big tournament ahead of you. You should enjoy it. How many people can say they've captained their team or their country or whatever in an international tournament? Not many. So this is a big one for you. And it is, and never, like you said, never mind being captain. And I'll give AD Boothroyd likes you. You keep talking about how he checks up on you and the rest of it. So we're going to have to see, people. And again, he's been frustrated. I do think the articles are making more of him talking about frustration and things like that than he said, but it is what it is. And like he said, people, His last appearance came in January. He's played only 1 minute since January in the top flight, and he's not featured in our last 8 squads. And again, so he's, even going into the under 21s, you're not in the best of condition. And looking back in August, I would say, listen, I hear you. I hear that you ended the season strongly. You wanted to stay at Arsenal and whatnot based on how last season went. But I would have thought, listen, I need to go and get 20, 30 games under my belt. I have the under 21s championship. I need to be in my best condition. Clearly, you were just getting gassed at being at Arsenal and getting comfortable. So it is what it is, man. I back Eddie. Again, these sort of things are not correlating. And I like Eddie. I like Eddie, but not everybody has to make it here. Eddie might go somewhere and he might become a lethal gunman in the Premier League. And we might look and say, how did we miss that? But these things need to happen. It's like Bellerin. Bellerin might go somewhere at 26. The penny might drop. He might look like that right back we thought he was going to be. But at the same time, it needs to happen. We can't keep going through these years in, years out sort of thing. At some point, it has to become sink or swim for these players. And, people like Saka are swimming. Other players, not everyone's developing at the same rates. To be fair, it's not the worst of records that he's got for Arsenal in the first team, but it's hardly amazing. He's got 12 goals in 60 games. That's handing 13 goals in all comps. That's not the worst. But again, when you start to look at that, half of them are probably cups and against lower league opposition. How many came in the Premier League? Fair play. In all seasons, how many? He's only really been around the first team for the last 18 months, like a real option. So we have to discount a bit. But I want to see how many goals you've actually got in the Premier League. So that could never be right. Has he really got 4 goals in the Premier League? I can remember one against Leicester. I remember one against West Ham. I think he scored against Everton. Boy, I don't know, but that could never be right, man. I don't know for that. Maybe I've typed the wrong setting, but again, that he definitely has one against Everton as well. So you scored against Everton, Southampton, where you didn't even have the best. You didn't even play well in that game, in my opinion. West Ham, Southampton twice. You love a Southampton goal. He must have more than 4 people, but this is it. Again, that's the form isn't correlating, and that it contracted until 2022. For me, decent money, sell that. Decent money, sell on clause. The world keeps spinning, sort of thing. So we'll have to see what happens in relation to our young Eddie Nketiah. Really and truly, he's allowed to be frustrated. He's entitled to be frustrated wholeheartedly. So yeah. Yeah, Burnley last day of the season. He definitely has more than 4, but it is what it is, man. I think Nelson's been hard done by, but at the same time, they haven't they've not been proactive. Other players have been proactive. You look at Yunus Musa, you look at people like that, they've been proactive in their development and look where they're going. They could have stayed at Arsenal and whatnot. They're proactive. You've got to seize your future, man. And everybody's journey is different. Some people have to go out on loan. Some people are better off staying. Certain people are going to hit off straight away and then keep going flying. Some men are going to play Premier League football, do well, and then start struggling. Some players are going to struggle. And then you look at Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe took a while to get it going. We can't, not everyone's developing at different rates. That's why I always say it's a case by case basis. But at the same time, Arsenal were getting into that territory where not just the young players were carrying a lot of players, a lot of man who we say they're decent, they just need to do this and that. If we went through the whole 25-man squad, bro, that's a good, I'm not even going to say percentages because I can't even work out percentages, but let's say 40% just because it makes me sound smarter there, people. Do you get it? So it's a difficult one to really answer. But for me, if you're going to do this, I think Arteta wants a striker anyways, away from what we might be doing with Martinelli, Aubameyang and Laka. So I think he wants a striker. I think Martinelli needs to learn to become a player that can play on the left and the right. And for me, through the middle, you've got Aubameyang for another couple of years. You've got a couple other academy players. Go and make a little change on Nketiah and these players. Now, what we need to remember, there is a legit case. When you look at our homegrown players, really, if you just exclude Saka, and Smith Rowe now, there is a case to move people on. But I think we have to be careful of saying, let's sell Joe, let's sell Maitland, let's sell Eddie, let's sell Nelson, let's sell this. We need to keep some of these players. Chambers isn't young, but thrown into there. We need to keep some of these homegrown players purely for registration purposes, people. So we need to, it is what it is. It really is what it is in that regards, people. That was 30. I'm going to extend that because I like the stuff I was talking. I was feeling myself there, but that's the timestamps. Man said he got several chances. He should have went on loan. Go market yourself. Facts. Turned down for who? Eddie Nketiah. If that's true, then we're smoking budge. I think Nelson can still do well, but at the same time, we can't be carrying people now, man. You know, so if it means selling Nelson, Eddie, Bellerin, this guy, Maitland, this guy, that guy. There's all these players. I actually don't want to sell them when I speak with my heart, but same way we keep doing this. There's too much of this, you know. There's too much of this, and we don't know what we're getting from Xhaka and Luiz and these players. We need to change it up, like. And as much part of me is of the belief of doing something that wouldn't happen is even players I like, just change up the squad, man. Just change up the squad because it's getting meaty, bro. Mad mediocre, but that doesn't just because you're mediocre or average, it doesn't mean you can't have a role, man. It literally don't mean you can't have a role in the team. It's just all I look for is competency. Bro, chill off. Curtis will be here. Do you see it being 12 o'clock? Like there's another live stream. I'm gonna bust out of this one and get in another one. Calm down. Cameron Jerome will be here. But on that topic, though, people, I'm going to cut this 5 minutes short just to give myself a second to go get a juice and whatnot. And the good news for you lot is we're going to go again. You know, please make sure you stay on. This live stream will take you to that. But if you're too lazy for that, I'm going to send you another link. And yeah, man, me and Curtis will be chopping it up. I'm going to ask him about Aubameyang. I'm going to speak about Leno. You know, ask him about Nketiah. Ask him anything, man. So get your questions in, man. I'm not saying what, bro. If it's up to me, I'll clear up the whole thing now. Because I'm tired of the storyline thing now, man. Like, listen, you not know me. I'm a Haaland man. I don't want to sell Nelson, Eddie, Joe. I don't want Guendouzi to leave, bro. I'm Torreira FC. You know, I actually like Bellerin. I don't think Xhaka is bad. I don't want. Listen, you know me. This is my heart in it. I don't want none of these men to leave, sort of thing. But that's not going to make Arsenal take Arsenal back. You know, we have to make some of these harsh decisions, whether that means players going elsewhere and looking like players. We need to take certain things. It's like with Guendouzi, I want him to stay because I think he's going to turn into a good player. But if we can make a little profit, that profit can be reinvested and allow us to do what we need to do. It is what it is. And I do see that, you know, especially with it's a difficult one, man, because again, the Haaland boys, they count as homegrown and we're going to need them. But people, again, I need to cut this one short. We're going again. You know, I was going to do this in the afternoon, but I don't know, man. I just really like speaking to you lot, people. So, yeah, man, I'll be back again, man. I'll be back again. You know, I'll ask Curtis his opinions on the Odegaard business as well, if somebody reminds me. But yeah, man, 4 minutes or so from that, we'll be back again, man. It is what it is. What it is. If you want more, then go and hit up the next live stream. But if you're just tuning in for this one, we've had about 330 people. I appreciate all of you lot locked in, man. Like C said, hit the like button, and I'll catch you lot in a second, people.